Okay, let's look at preparation of salts. Description of a salt. What is a salt? A salt is a compound formed when the hydrogen ions of an acid are fully or partially replaced by a metal or ammonium ions. We can also define a salt as a compound made of positive metallic or ammonium ions and any negative ion of an acid. Now let's look at the types of salts. So salts can be classified according to their nature and solubility in water. Now let's look at some of the types of salts. So we have one, an acidic salt, one which has acidic properties. Then we also have a basic salt, one which has the properties of a base. And we also have a normal salt, which has no properties of an acid or basic properties, but it is rather neutral. Now let's look at the solubility rules of salts. So we have to know that all nitrates are soluble in water. Then we also have to understand that carbonates of sodium, potassium, ammonium are soluble, or rather we can say all carbonates of group 1 elements are soluble, and all other carbonates are insoluble. Now, let's also see that most sulfates are soluble except lead sulfate, barium sulfate, and calcium sulfate. So we are saying lead sulfate, barium sulfate, and calcium sulfate are all insoluble, but other sulfates are soluble. So now we also have to understand that all chlorides are soluble except silver chloride, lead chloride, and mercury chloride. In other words, we can say silver chloride, lead chloride, and mercury chloride. All these are insoluble, but other chlorides are soluble. Let's continue further with more solubility rules. Hydroxide and oxides of alkali metals and ammonium are soluble, while other oxides and hydroxides are insoluble. All sorts of alkali metals and ammonium are soluble. Now let's look at the demonstration of preparation of insoluble salts. So these are the steps for obtaining the barium sulfate, which is an insoluble salt. Step 1. Mix solutions of barium chloride and magnesium sulfate. A white precipitate of barium sulfate forms at once. The mixture is filtered. Barium sulfate gets tapped in the filter paper. Barium sulfate remains on the filter paper as a residue. This is rinsed with distilled water. Then it is put in a warm oven or porous filter paper to dry. Let's also look at the demonstration of preparation of soluble salt. Step 1. Get a pipette of 25.0 cubic decimeters of 1.0 mole per cubic decimeters of hydrochloric acid into a conical flask. So in short, we are saying using a pipette, we are getting the hydrochloric acid into the conical flask. Step 2. Add 2 droppers of phenolphthalein indicator into the flask and swill, in short, shake. Step 3. Slowly release from the burette aqueous sodium hydroxide of a known concentration into the conical flask and swirl the flask constantly to mix the content. When the pink color first appears in the flask, stop the addition of sodium hydroxide and note the volume of the alkali used. Demonstration of preparation of soluble salt continues. Step 5. Repeat the titration step, this time without the addition of the indicator, adding the noted volume of alkali into the flask of 25.0 cubic decimeters of 1.0 mole per cubic decimeters of acid. Step 6. The solution formed will be neutral solution of sodium chloride. Heat the solution so that water will evaporate and the solution become crystal or saturated. Step 8. Crystallize the cooled saturated solution. Then step 9. Filter out the pure sodium chloride crystals. The steps can be used in the preparation of other salts such as zinc sulfate, copper 2 sulfate. So in this case we have demonstrated how to prepare a soluble salt, which is a table salt sodium chloride. Demonstration of existence of hydrated salts and differentiate from anhydrous salt. Hydrated salts are salts containing water of crystallization. So if a salt contains water of crystallization, then we have to know that it is an hydrated salt. Now, what is an anhydrous salt? So these are salts that do not contain water of crystallization. Now, let's proceed further to describe the behavior of salts with reference to the atmosphere. Salt is hygroscopic, efflorescent, or deliquescent. Now, what do we mean when we say a salt is hygroscopic? This is when a salt absorbs moisture from the atmosphere but not enough to form a solution. It is still solid. Now, what do we understand when a salt is deliquescent? This is when a salt absorbs enough moisture to form a solution, which means it changes its state to liquid state, and rather not a solid state. Now, what do we mean when we say efflorescent salt? We say a salt is a fluorescent salt. This is when a salt gives out water of crystallization to the environment. This marks the end of our lesson. Thank you. Have a blessed night. Bye-bye.